Welcome to Cast Your Bets, the Offshore Gaming Association podcast with your hosts Jim Quinn of OSGA.com and J.R. O'Donnell of Red Zone Sports. Let's get started.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Cast Your Bets, the Super Bowl edition. Finally here at the end of the season. This is Jim from OSGA.com with my good friend J.R. O'Donnell from Red Zone Sports and Pregame. We're going to try and break down the Super Bowl, give you a few prop bets, talk about some of the offshore contests that are running, and help you stick some money at the end of the season in your pocket. And when you cash out next week, you'll be golden because you listened to Cast Your Bets. You can find us on iTunes, you can find us on Blueberry, and you can find a nice video podcast of this out on YouTube. J.R. O'Donnell, how's things going? You getting pumped up for the big game?
I'm doing well, my friend. Hard to believe. Week 22, Super Bowl, Philadelphia, New England, rematch of tons of years ago. It's going to be a great game, and we have a great podcast going. We've been red hot here on the podcast, and I can't wait to fatten up the listeners.
Yeah, man, and it's looking to shape up like a really good football game. You know, certainly excited because the Eagles are in it, but I think it's just going to be a damn good football game. Probably a little bit of a clean game is the way I'm picking it. You know, and we want to break this game down for the listeners here, JR. One of the things that you look at is these prop bets. You know, I mean, certainly there's the side and the total, and there's been a ton of money so far on the Eagles. But I think that it's one of those cases where a lot of people make mistakes playing these prop bets. What's your approach when you start looking down the board of the 6, 7, 800, 1,000 props?
Well, you hit the nail on the head because the prop bets actually, when the people are frenzied up about betting the Super Bowl, everybody likes to unload. They all love the side. They all love the total. They play the parlay. They play the teasers. But the sports books are smart. They obviously capitalize on these people wanting to bet prop bets. Everybody has a little fun. But the key word there is fun. I'm going to hammer the side, hammer the total. I'm going to make some money there. But you can't fatten yourself up. You can't look to get out from under a stuck season with the prop bets. If you want to have some fun, if you want to go to a party and you want to have a little fun with a minimum amount of bankroll, I mean a sliver of a bankroll, that's the way to fly. Now, some of these prop bets are obviously in the advantage of a good seasoned handicapper, but most of them, the odds are put up by the sports book. There's some crazy ones out there that people love to play, but let me tell you, don't try to hit a home run with the prop bets. Do a couple singles and that and fatten you up.
Yeah, and the odds made by these sports books certainly appear to be in their favor when you look up and down the list. I mean, it seems like you can cherry pick a couple of hot ones in there, but you know, some of the odds are as high as 60 cents. I saw one that was minus 210, and the other side of it was plus 150. Out there on Bovada's site, they're all at least 30 cents. Makes it tough to win, and I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is they blindly look at the prop bets as if they never were going to play the side or total. And when I look at these things, and I'm sure you do it the same way, if you handicap the game and you're looking at taking either the Eagles or the Patriots or the total or the under, you're going to want to play your prop bets that line up with that handicapping.
That's a great point. I handicap the game for the side and the total, and then I parlay, or should I say I move on the prop bets that fit into that system. You're certainly going to look for the prop bets that if you like the game to go over the total, or if you like one side very strong, then you want to go in the direction with those prop bets. You certainly don't want to hedge, or you certainly don't want to go against yourself. So the key to a good prop bet is obviously going to be get yourself on the side, get the research, get the analysis, look for everything, and then the prop bets fall in line with the way you're going with the game.
Yeah, that's the perfect strategy. And you don't want to, of course, you don't want to go nuts with these prop bets, but you're certainly a lot of fun to be had there. And I think if you shop around, you know, maybe you're playing at more than one sports book looking for a little bit different number or a little bit different number on like the total yards passing, that kind of thing, you might find some value there in addition to getting to play a little bet and have a little bit of fun there. Now, there's hundreds and hundreds of these things out there, JR. And, you know, one of the things that I used to have some fun with until I realized you're never going to win is taking a shot at a crazy one. The color of the Gatorade, the length of the national anthem. When they got Justin Timberlake's shoe color this year. How many times is Donald Trump going to tweet during the game? You know, they're all fun and games, but I think that's something that's going to get you killed.
you obviously hit the nail on the head. If you want to go crazy and you want to chirp about the one prop bet you won, that's crazy, but forget the 9 that you lost, that's great, because they talk about Timberlake and Pink and Donald Trump and the cross bets, but, it's all for fun. If you want to take a small percentage of your bankroll and you want to have a little fun, that's great. But certainly you cannot get out from a stuck season or a down season if you're in the red by these prop bets. You handicap the side and total, maybe throw a parlay or teaser out there, which we talked about, take the home team or take the Patriots down, but you don't want to try to hit a home run or a grand slam with a crazy prop bet.
So I shouldn't bet on the total commercials Peyton Manning will appear in. That's not a good play.
No, absolutely, absolutely not.
There's something that's always fascinated me, and I've never really played them. But since we're sitting here talking about prop betting and some strategies to use, there's always some kind of cross-sport props that seem to me like if you do a little bit of homework, you may be able to pick up a few dollars there. This year there's one for Jordan Spieth's final round versus Zach Ertz's total receptions. There's one out there for Russell Westbrook assist points and rebounds versus the Lakers versus the Patriots and Eagles combined points. And these are fun ones too. Gives you some action maybe a little later when you're watching the NBA game. But I don't think that's enough. I don't know. What do you think about these cross-sport props?
Well, those cross-sport props that you do your homework on, people that follow the NBA and know how bad the Lakers are and how good Russell Westbrook, let me tell you, let me dive into that one a little bit. Russell Westbrook is on fire. He's going to average a triple-double. So he's going to put up about 30 points, 13 assists, 10 rebounds, which is basically 53 right there. If you do your homework and Russell Wilson just plays his normal game because he is all-world, you can play Russell Westbrook at 53, 54. And if you don't think the total's going that high, you can make some money. So right there, fellas, let me tell you, I like that bet. I like Russell Westbrook's triple-double to go over the total points scored in the game.
Yeah, and these are kind of fun. I mean, you got some golf ones, some basketball ones, and, there's some Eagle players and teams in there, and that seems kind of fun. Now, some of the props, have some pretty big numbers attached to them. There's some real traditional ones. If you go back 10 years, 12 years, or whenever Jay Kornegay out in Las Vegas decided that prop bets were the way to go for these games, you have one that's score in the last 2 minutes of the first half. Used to be out there at minus 120, minus 150. That baby's up to minus 300. You have the trying to guess the exact points, and you're getting, big money on the return there. Some of these props, maybe they look like gimmies. Maybe the win is so attractive that you want to go for it. What are your thoughts on some of these ones that, they either look like gimmies or they look like home runs? Is that something to run? I think I run there. I don't know.
That's something that you run against, because when you see those 300, 400 minuses, that's obviously there for a reason. I don't think anybody should move hard on that. The whole key here for the first 5-10 minutes of the show is to let people know that prop bets are out there, and I certainly agree with them. I think it's a great spot for the Super Bowl weekend. It is a tremendous game, tremendous outing, and hats off to these guys making the props. But trying to hit a home run with those big money lines is something I'm going to stay away from.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to think that some of these guys really have a lot of ingenuity to come up with Russell Westbrook versus the Eagles and Patriots points, one that I never would have even thought of. That's a little bit of a primer there on betting props, and I think we've tried to show you guys out there that are listening that there are ways to win when you're doing this. Now I think it's time for JR and Jim here to pick some that they're going to be plunking a few dollars down on. We've been calling it the 10 for 10 for a little while. But I think we're going to just throw some out there, do a little discussion on them, and see what sticks, see what you folks find at your sports book to play on. JRO, hit me with one you love.
First touchdown scored by the Patriots. First touchdown in the ball game scored by the Patriots. They're going to take him down the field. He's going to pump to the halfback, and he's going to hit Danny Amendola plus 700. First touchdown scored by the Patriots. I like that prop.
That's sweet. Plus 700.
Plus 700.
Wow, man, that's a pretty sweet one there. I like that. And you're getting those good odds, man. And I think you got to throw a couple in there with some good odds like that, because you're gonna pay some juice on some of them too. I think. I've got one that I pay a little juice on. Will Nick Foles throw an interception in the game? I say he's not going to throw one. He hasn't thrown one yet in the playoffs. I don't think he's going to be risking a lot here in this game. You know, in 49 career starts, he only has 29 interceptions, and that includes one season where he was hurt or they were just terrible and he had 10. But I like that no to throw an interception in the game at plus 110, which is 11 to win 10 there. What do you think of that one?
I like that one. Foles plays it close to the vest. You know that when he had that Pro Bowl season, he was like 18, 19 passes, touchdown passes to 1 or maybe 2 interceptions. He's going to play it close to the vest. He's going to dump it off. I don't think New England's secondary is very strong. They obviously have some great linebackers, but I like that one too. He's not going to throw an interception. You got some good odds there.
Yeah, I like that one. And then there's all kinds of other ones. Well, that's 2 so far. Fire another one at me, JR.
Total pass attempts by Tom Brady, over 37.5 or under 37.5. This baby is begging the world to take the under. I'm going over 37.5. Brady airs it out. I'm going over 37.5, minus 125.
Minus 125. That's not bad either because the Eagles have that great run defense. I don't know if they ended up number 1, but for a long time in the season they were number 1 in rushing defense. So you got to figure that he's just going to fire the ball out there. And that kind of ties in with one that I like. There's one out there, they're player props. I always love the player props. Jeffrey for the Eagles versus Amendola for the Patriots. Most pass receiving yards by Alshon Jeffrey or Danny Amendola. They're giving Jeffrey 6.5 yards here. And Jeffrey's minus 6.5 yards here, so they're giving Amendola 6.5 yards. He's got almost 200 yards in 2 games. I just can't see this one. I think Brady's going to look for him often, and he's going to end up with 10 catches.
It's slighted in that direction because it gives you a chance. They're minus 6.5 there with Alshon Jeffries. That's a solid bet there. I would go that direction. They want you to take the other side, and you're not taking it. You're going the other way. You're a smart better there.
Yeah, there's like 300 of these player props out there. I was scouring them for hours. What else you got for us, JR?
I know that you're going to think that I'm the furthest thing from a homer, but I like the team to score the longest touchdown. Patriots minus 145. They just have to make the longest touchdown in the game. Patriots minus 145. Somebody's going to get burnt. I know he's going to be wearing green, but I think the Patriots score on a longer touchdown pass than the Eagles.
Well, that's interesting that you like that because I was looking at that one a little bit myself, and I think the long touchdown pass for the Patriots is around 30 yards, and I think the long touchdown pass for Foles was that flea flicker that was like 50 yards or something. But, you never know. And obviously, we haven't brought your pickup yet, but you're picking a lot of New England stuff. I'm trying to stay a little more even-keeled because I'm a little more even on this game. But, yeah, that's longest touchdown will be scored by the New England Patriots. There you go. That one's pretty much at every single place out there, too. There's another one that I did a little research on. Team to get the first penalty in the game. Seems to me like this is a gimme, which probably means I'll get killed on it, but it looks like a gimme. Eagles are minus 130 to get the first penalty in the game. Eagles were one of the 10 most penalized teams in the NFL. The Patriots were like 28th in penalties. I mean, this is something that, it might be the middle of the second quarter before a penalty occurs. And I like the Eagles here to get the first penalty in the game.
I agree right there. Enough said. When the ref congratulates Tom Brady, the first guy on the field was congratulated by the ref. I don't think I have to say any other analysis there.
Yeah, the New England factor.
Exactly.
What else did you dig out looking through the 20,000 props that are out there, JR?
All right, this is a layup here. This is a good one, and I'm certainly not going to bleed red and blue here. Zach Ertz reception. 5.5. I like over 5.5. I think he did his job well last week. I think Foles is going to lock down on him. I think he's going to be the second or third guy after Foles looks off. I think Ertz flies over 5.5 receptions.
Yeah, and I think they're going to move him around, too. He creates some matchup problems. I think that the Patriots secondary is not a big bunch of huge guys. He creates some, and he's got 11 catches in the playoffs, which is, 5.5 a game. It's a fat one. What kind of juice you paying on that one, JR?
Over is just minus 110. Regular juice, minus 110.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Like that. That a lot. The last kind of one that I'm looking at here is, actually, I got 2 more. Not to get too crazy here, but I've got 2 more out of the 10,000. Will LeGarrette Blount score a touchdown in the game for the Eagles? Now, the reason I like this one is he's got 2 touchdowns in the playoffs, and yes is plus 165. At any time in the game, Blount scores a touchdown, boom, you cash on that at plus 165. I don't see them giving the ball to Jay Ajayi inside the 10-yard line. I don't see them, they might try to grind it out a little bit. So, I'm liking this at plus 165.
Plus the revenge factor, because that big boy played for the Patriots. They're going to jam it down their throat there. And I feel that 165, that's tough. It almost looks too easy there at that price. But I'm going to go with you there. I would certainly not play that to go crazy, but I'll agree with you there. They punch it in there, and LeBlanc sticks it in the Patriots' face there.
Yeah, that's what I looked at too. I'm like, ooh, little rivalry action here. Like that. Like that a lot. JR, you've got a couple already on the board. We'll go through these again at the end of the podcast for folks that are listening, just in case we're hitting them a little too quickly for you to get your pencil out there. But JRO, you got one or two more for us?
I got one more, and that's it. One more I'm really scratching here. And, it's going against your philosophy. Or actually not going against your philosophy, but the team to record the first sack, the team to dump the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage. I like the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they get after Brady a little bit. I think that they record the first sack, they get after him. And I think Graham or Fletcher Cox or anybody, even Long, the kid, Howie Long's son, Eagles, team record the first sack, Eagles, even money.
Nice, because the Eagles D is one of the reasons that they're here. They've also managed to sack the quarterback a couple of times in the playoffs as well. So that is Eagles to record the first sack. Nice. Now this one, I promise, is my last one. Kind of jumped off the page for me, and I think it might have been posted a little bit earlier in the week than when I was looking just the other day. And it seems to me like it's another gimme, JR. Gronkowski, total receptions. Gronk. They say Gronk like 400 times a game. In fact, that might even be a prop. How many times do they say Gronk? But I got him over 5 receptions. Over under 5 receptions. Overs minus 130. I mean, he had 7 in that first playoff game. He's Brady's go-to guy. If he's not throwing to Amendola, he's throwing to Gronk. It seems to me like a no-brainer, and maybe that's why sometimes I don't cash at the end of the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Well, it looks a little low there, but Gronk is clear to play. He practiced on Saturday. They're playing it close to the vest, but obviously they're going to have Gronk in the game. I don't know how effective he's going to be with Jenkins on him, but I certainly wouldn't want to have Gronk under 5 receptions because, when Brady's got to get down or they need to grind it down there, Gronk is his go-to guy, and he is a man-child among those boys, and he will get it done.
Yeah. I mean, I think that line might have been put out when he was still a little questionable, but I'm pretty sure he's been making the rounds, and what'd you say? He was on the WWE or something the other night, And anything to help Vince McMahon push the XFL, I guess. I don't know. All right, folks. So there you go. We're going to review these babies at the end one last time for you. So, you can get your pencil out there. After we get back from a commercial break, JRO is going to give us a pick for the Super Bowl. We'll talk a little bit about some Super Bowl contests that are out there. And we'll run through these props one more time. Don't forget, you can find us out there on YouTube every week. You can find us out there on iTunes, at a very popular podcasting site called Blueberry, and, of course, on the OSGA.com site. And here's a little brief message about a fabulous contest we're running at OSGA.
Now he heads to the end zone. Touchdown.
It's that time of year again, not just Super Bowl time. OSGA Super Easy Super Bowl contest time. The Offshore Gaming Association is running their annual Super Easy Super Bowl contest, and nobody makes it easier to play and win than OSGA. Simply answer 10 questions about the big game, and you can cash in. That's it. There's no entry fee, and the Super Easy Super Bowl contest features a top prize of $300 cash. The OSGA Super Easy Super Bowl contest is quick to enter and easy to play. So head to OSGA.com now to enter and win. Want even more ways to win? Become an OSGA VIP member at OSGA.com for even more opportunities to be a winner.
All right, folks, hopefully you head over to OSGA.com and take part in that free contest there. J.R. O'Donnell, you're going to have some stuff up on pregame for the Super Bowl, I'm guessing, right?
I'm going to give the side here absolutely free, and I'm going to have the total plus a couple more solid prop bets at pregame.com. Just go over there, look for me. I'm having a heck of a season in all sports. J.R. O'Donnell, pregame.com.
Nice, man. That's good. So you'll have a package of prop bets? Is that how you do those things?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to sell the total as a 3-star, and I'm also going to do some prop bets. I'll have a whole package. I'm not going to have to go individual. It'll be the over-under plus 4 or 5, maybe 6 solid prop bets, obviously, and it's going to be a nice winning package.
Nice, man, nice. Now, it's the time of year, a lot of sports books, pretty much, if you go back a decade or so, every single sports book out there had some kind of contest. Some of them are a little stingy with it these days. Last week, I talked about one that's being run by the Bet Phoenix group. Bet Phoenix and Bet Mania have by far the biggest one, where they're giving away a 7-day Caribbean cruise. It's a prop contest. The second place is an iPhone. I mean, you win a TV or a drone, and they have all kinds of sportsbook prizes. You can find that listing over at osga.com along with all these different contests. But that's over at Bet Phoenix or betmania.ag, both very outstanding places. Bet Online, one of the biggest books out there, is running a heck of a contest. They've got a $10,000 pool for their Super Bowl props predictor contest. That first place in that one's $2,000. And if you're a member over there at betonline.ag, you can get in on that thing. And then there's the traditional squares contests. Like I said, a number of years ago, every single place out there ran one of these things. And now, you're a little harder pressed to find it at some sports books, especially some of the bigger dogs. But WagerWeb's got a nice one. It's a free entry, and that's wagerweb.ag. It pays $100 for each quarter and $200 for the full game. And that's free to enter. So that's one of the few ones where you don't have to do anything except be a member over there at WagerWeb, and you can play that. And then Diamond Sports at betdsi.eu, they've got an enormous squares contest. They've got everything from a $5 entry up to a $500 entry. They've got about 12 different levels there, so there's a contest for every single player. And believe it or not, their $500 contest, the final score pays $20,000. So those are a couple out there. We have them listed at osga.com. You also can head to those sites out there at Betmania, BetOnline, WagerWeb, and BetDSI.eu. Now, it's come to the time of the show where JR offers us up a little pick. I'm pretty sure where JR's going here, but spit it out for the listeners, man. Tell them who they should be liking in this game.
Well, it's certainly a great time of year, and I do my homework here, and I'm certainly the furthest thing from a homer, but I'm going to go short, sweet, and to the point here. I think 2 out of 3 bets, maybe even 3 out of 4 bets right now are on Philadelphia. You talk about the money line. You talk about Philadelphia as a destined season. You talk about Philadelphia this, Philadelphia that. But the numbers and the trends and the stats are there. Brady and Belichick versus Foles and Peterson. I'm playing New England minus the 4. I think this line opened at 6. And, fellas, let me tell you, a tremendous amount of public money have moved this line down to 4 or even 3.5. Let me tell you what's going to happen, in my opinion. I think Sunday, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the line is going to spike back towards New England. It's going to be 4 right now, but I think you'll see 4.5 or even 5 at game time. I'm going to play New England to win the game and cover the number. I think New England is the better ball club. I think Brady gets it done. Say what you want about him. He's the greatest of all time. I'm certainly not a fan of anybody except money, but the stats and trends, 15-0 straight up against a team they have not played before. Brady and Belichick, 28-7 ATS in this spot. I could go on and on and on, and people are going to shut me down here if they're in Philadelphia. But I'm going to play the New England Patriots. I'm going to say minus 4 right now as of taping to win the game and cover the spread.
It's tough to bet against Tom Brady. It just is. I see where you're going here with this. Some of those trends are just ridiculous with Brady and Belichick. They've been there so many times. The press conference, Brady walks in like he owns the place. Foles walks in like, he's a deer in the headlights. It's a solid angle you got here. I'm disappointed, but I think you're probably on the right side there, especially at 4, man.
Yeah, that line is 4, and it opened at 6 for about a 30-second window, and then everybody lined up, obviously, in Philadelphia. And, hey, my hat's off. If Philadelphia wins the game outright or covers the spread, I've been wrong before. I certainly don't want to be wrong in this one for the listeners. But let me tell you right here, I like the solid fact of the stats, the trends, and I go against the public. I chirped out loud and stood on the mountain with that over in the Philadelphia Eagles game where everybody had the under. Las Vegas made a ton of money as people just got crushed on that total. And I think right now Vegas, and they can withstand the hit of the Super Bowl because there's going to be teasers and parlays, and Vegas is going to come out on top. But right now, I don't want to be on that boat with everybody crowded. I want to be on that speedboat with the only guy in the boat going the other way.
JRO riding shotgun with Tom Brady. Like it. All right, man. So that's J.R. O'Donnell from pregame.com taking New England, given a handful of points there. Let's call it 4.5, JR. Let's call it 4.5 for the listeners because that number is going to be in flux. I mean, I know it's down to 4 at a few places as we're recording here, but I think we might end up, more like 4.5. So that's cool with you. We'll go New England minus 4.5.
Absolutely, 4.5. I think it's even going to go at game time. I think you're going to see some tremendous amount of sharp money come in on New England. I think the public plays Philly early, and I think the line goes to 4.5 or even 5 at game time as the big bangers are going to move off their stacks of money and play New England right at game time.
Yeah, like maybe that line's being moved for a reason, which is always a scary thing. So there you go, folks. That's the pick for the Super Bowl. And it's tough to bet against Brady, so it's tough to bet against JRO on this one. Now, here we are at the very end of the football season. This is the final game, the Super Bowl, the big dog, the big game. It's got the commercials. It's got Justin Timberlake. And what's going to happen is at least 50% of the players at sportsbooks are going to withdraw their money at this point. And I just want to give a word of caution to everybody. You probably should expect a delay because you're in line with a lot of people. If you're playing at a smaller place, you have the double whammy because most of the processing and ways that these places move money back to the United States are taken up by the big dogs who are going to be sending money back to tens of thousands of customers. So I just want to give a little bit of a word of advice there. If it takes one of these places 5 or 6 or 7 days to pay you, if they're still around on January the 5th, you really don't have to worry about it. If you're playing at a bookmaker or a Bet Online or a Heritage or a Bovada or any number of books that we rate as elite over at OSGA.com, you shouldn't have any problem getting your money. It's just you may have to wait a little bit for it. It's really no reason to freak out. It's no reason to go on and post and go on the Twitter and bash a place if they take a few extra days to pay you, because it's going to happen. I told you back maybe 3-4 weeks ago to whittle your bankroll down so that you're not waiting on a big payout. But it's just one of those things where you really just have to have a little bit of patience. You certainly can contact us over at OSGA.com, or you can hit us up on our chat lines, if you have any questions about it. But really, if you're playing at a place that's doing a nice job for you and they're still around on February the 5th, you can pretty much guarantee at some point in the next week or so you'll end up being able to withdraw all that money out of there. Now, JRO, let's go back to our props real quick. Hit me with your 2 big dogs. The listeners hopefully had their pencil out there before the little spot about the OSGA contest. But hit me with 2 of your favorite props you gave out today on the show, and I'll throw 2 of mine in, and then we'll let the folks go and head to their favorite sports book. My
favorite prop is the first Patriot to score a touchdown at a nice price, Danny Amendola plus 700. Play Amendola as the first Patriot to score a touchdown. He receives a pass from Brady early in the game, and Amendola plus 700.
Fantastic. My top one is the Eagles to get the first penalty in the game. That's a yes. The Eagles will get the first penalty in the game at minus 130. Give the listeners one more of your favorites there, JR.
I like Philadelphia Eagles tight end Zach Ertz over 5.5 receptions, minus 110. I think he gets the ball dumped to him by Foles. I think they lock down some of the wide receivers, and Foles is going to go to Ertz as his go-to guys. He might even have 4 or 5 receptions by halftime.
Fantastic. And, I was looking at the Gronkowski one, but you kind of talked me out of that one a little tiny bit. So I'm going to go with my number 2 pick as LeGarrette Blount to score a touchdown in the game. I think that he's got that revenge factor, and a yes on that is paying you plus 165. I think that's a fat piece of juice you got there. So, folks, we hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl broadcast here. J.R. O'Donnell, folks will be looking for you over at pregame.com. You have stuff up there yet? When's this stuff get posted?
Yeah, my Super Bowl pick with the props is up there right now. You can go get it. Just look for J.R. O'Donnell. I can hang my hat anywhere, but I'm hanging my hat at pregame.com.
That's fantastic, man. And, folks, you should head over to OSGA.com. Look at some of those contests that we have posted out there. Play our free contest. And like we've been saying all season long, thanks a lot for listening to us here at Cast Your Bets, and we hope that you win at the end of this weekend.
You've been listening to Cast Your Bets, the Offshore Gaming Association podcast. Check in each week for more inside the sports gaming world. And don't forget to check us out on your favorite social media site and on our YouTube channel at OSGA Sports Betting. Thanks for listening.